of the saddest things a person can do is abandon themselves for approval. And the worst part is that most people don't even realize it is wrong. They're changing their personality depending on who's in the room, holding back opinions they actually believe in, second guessing decisions they already know the answer to, staying quiet when they want to speak, saying yes when they want to say no, just because they're terrified of being judged, terrified of being rejected, terrified of not being liked. And little by little, they start building a life around other people's opinions instead of their own values. If any of this sounds familiar, then you're at the right place. Because today I'll be teaching you how to stop seeking external validation. And until you learn it, you'll always feel like your worth is sitting in somebody else's hands. So let's begin. Chapter 1. The Cost of Seeking Validation. Now, let's talk about why this is dangerous. Because validation seeking isn't just annoying. It's expensive. It costs you your confidence. Every time you ignore your own opinion and prioritize someone else's, you're teaching your brain a lesson. I don't respect myself. Because not letting others' perceptions of you become your true identity is the bare minimum of respecting yourself. Yes, you heard that right. And eventually you stop trusting, respecting, and valuing yourself altogether. It costs you opportunities. You don't apply, you don't speak up, you don't start the channel, you don't dress up so people wouldn't think of you as being extra or attention-seeking. You don't take the risk of starting your business. Not because you can't, but because someone might judge you. It costs you authenticity. You become whatever version of yourself gets the most approval. And after a while, you don't even know who the real you is anymore. But the most terrifying cost? You can spend your entire life trying to make everyone happy and still fail. There will always be someone who disapproves, someone who misunderstands you, someone who judges you. So imagine sacrificing your dreams, your personality, and your happiness for approval that was never guaranteed in the first place. That's what people-pleasing does. It convinces you to trade your individuality, which I definitely won't allow on this side of the internet. Chapter 2. Mindset shifts that change everything. Now let's change the way your brain is wired for seeking validation. First, people are not thinking about you as much as you think. Most of the people are just too busy doing the same thing which you want to get rid of. People-pleasing. They are too worried about how they look, how they are perceived, and whether everyone in the room likes them. They are dwelling upon their problems, their future, their mistakes. They're not spending hours analyzing your life, they're analyzing theirs, or might even be wondering whether you're noticing them too much. Second, other people's opinions are information, not instructions. Just because someone dislikes your choice doesn't mean your choice is wrong. Just because someone disagrees doesn't mean you need to change. Just stop taking everything personally. Third, being disliked is not a tragedy. It's proof that you're being authentic, you're being yourself. Every confident person has critics. Every successful person has critics. Every interesting person has critics. The goal isn't to be liked by everyone. The goal is to be unbothered by these critics. And finally, the people judging you the most are usually the people who aren't doing anything themselves. The people building their lives are often too busy to obsess over others. So you better strive to be one of them. Chapter 3. How to Master Self-Validation. Step 1. Stop monitoring yourself. Most validation seekers walk through life carrying an invisible camera. Their every interaction becomes a performance. How do I sound? Do I look awkward? Was that funny? Do they like me? Instead of being present, they're constantly watching themselves. The next time you're talking to someone, shift your attention towards the other person. Become curious. Listen to them carefully. Observe. Ask questions. Because confidence isn't obsessing over how you're being perceived. It's being engaged enough to understand how you perceive the people out there. Step 2. Build an identity, independent of approval. A lot of people don't actually know who they are. They know who their parents want them to be, who their friends want them to be, who social media wants them to be, but not who they are, so start taking time to know yourself fully. What do you genuinely enjoy? These may be your hobbies, and I am not talking about scrolling or even using your phone. If you don't know what do you like, then start trying new activities like sports, baking, or even painting. What values do you want to live by? These are the things that matter to you the most. If you're still not sure about your values, then I have attached a link in the description through which you can get to know your personal values for free. What opinions do I hold when nobody else is around? Basically, you need to close the gap between who you are when you're alone versus who you are in public. Make sure both of them are aligned. The stronger your identity becomes, the less dependent you'll be on approval. Step 3. Stop trying to control other people's perception. This might be one of the most liberating lessons you'll ever learn. You cannot control how people see you. You could be kind and still be called rude. You could be intelligent and still be underestimated. You could explain yourself perfectly and still be misunderstood. Because people don't really see what you want them to see. They assume your reality based on their own experiences and biases. So stop trying to manage everyone's opinion. Focus on aligning your actions with your values instead. Step 4. Practice exposure therapy. Most fears shrink when you face them. Validation seeking works the same way. The only way to stop fearing judgment is to experience it and realize you survived. Start by the easiest thing that makes you uncomfortable or triggers your people-pleasing attitude. Be it saying no to something you genuinely don't want or just sharing your opinions in a conversation. Every time you survive a moment of discomfort, your brain collects evidence that judgment is not dangerous and nothing is as worse as you thought it would be, building your portfolio of proof that you can use later on in a similar situation to get through. And eventually, what once terrified you becomes normal. Step 5. Separate your worth from other people's opinions. This is the foundation of self-validation. Someone's approval does not increase your value. Someone's criticism does not decrease it. Because your worth is not determined by public opinion, imagine if your bank account changed every time someone liked or disliked you. That would be ridiculous. Yet that's exactly what many people do with their self-worth. Stop treating opinions as measurements of your value. They are simply reflections of someone else's perspective. Nothing more, nothing less. Chapter 4. The Self-Validation Challenge. This is your homework after everything you've learned in this video. 1. Make one decision entirely based on what you want. 2. Say no to something you genuinely don't want to do, without over-explaining. 3. Express an honest opinion, even if it isn't popular. 4. Do something that feels slightly embarrassing. Ask a question. Start a conversation. Raise your hand. Or anything that feels uncomfortable. 5. Wear, post, or share something you've been overthinking. 6. When you feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, try to deal with them by yourself. Lastly, write down every moment this week where you didn't let that people-pleasing attitude take over you. Because self-validation isn't something you learn. It's something you practice every single day. Now I challenge you to either do one thing or even all of these tasks this week, and feel free to share your achievements with me in the comments. I'd love to know about your progress. This brings us to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Thanks for watching. See you next week.